Magandang araw! Sama-sama tayong matuto sa Teacher Sal Learning Resource Channel.
Revise K-12 Curriculum Science 3 Quarter 1 Week 1. Our topic is all about science in our daily life. Why can I see, hear, feel, smell, and taste? Complete the sentences below. I can see my teacher in front of me. I can see my classmates beside me. I can see them because I use my eyes. I can hear my teacher in front of me. I can hear my classmates beside me. I can hear them because I use my ears. I can touch the chair I am sitting on. I can feel the clothes I am wearing. I can touch and feel because of my skin. I can smell the flowers in the garden. I can smell the soap when I wash my hands. I can smell because of my nose. I can taste the food I am eating. I can taste the juice I am drinking. I can taste because of my tongue. Today's lesson will help you answer the question, why can I see, hear, feel, smell, and taste? To describe objects in classroom and explore the importance of 5 senses. Match the body parts to its senses. Let us now answer. The hand is for touch. The nose is for smell. The tongue is for taste. The ear is for hear. And the eyes, they are for see. And for eyes, see. How do we use our senses every day? Name of object in sight, station, and describe the object in sight station. What can you see about the object? What is the color of the object? Is the object long or short? Is the object big or small? Let's proceed to touch station. What can you feel when you touch the object? Be careful when touching the object as it may have sharp and pointy edges. Is the object rough or smooth? Is the object wet or dry? Is the object hot, cold, or neither? For hearing station, what can you hear from the object? What does it sound like when you tap the object? What does it sound like when you shake the object? Is the sound it produces not loud or loud? For smell station, can you describe the smell of the object in the picture? Do not smell the object directly. Does the object smell good or bad? Describe the smell. For taste station, can you describe the taste when you ate the object in the picture? Do not taste the picture directly. Does it taste good or bad? Does it taste sweet, sour, bitter, or salty? Answer the following questions about the 5 senses. For sight station, what was the object at the sight station? How do you describe what you see with this object? Touch, What was the object at the touch station? Using your senses of touch, how would you describe the board eraser? For hearing station, what was the object at the hearing station? Using your sense of hearing, how would you describe the bag of coins? Smell station, what was the object at the smell station? Can you describe the object's smell? Taste station, what was the object of the taste station? Can you describe the object's taste of the fruit? Here are more examples for 5 senses. For sight station, we have these pictures. Touch station. Hearing station. Smell station. Taste station. Answer the following questions about the 5 senses. How are the senses important in describing objects? Which sense is more important? Sometimes, people can't see as well, hear as well, or smell things like others. They are people with disabilities or PWDs. How can they still learn about the world around them? What can my senses describe? Remember, the senses can describe many things that I can see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Describe the pencil or pen that you are using with your senses of sight, hearing, and touch. Answer the following questions on a piece of paper for submission. What color is the pencil's body? Does the pencil make a loud or soft sound when you tap it on your desk? Does the pencil feel smooth or rough when you touch it? Sorting of 5 senses using check mark and cross mark. For day 2. What body parts do I use for my senses? Match the body parts to its senses. Here are the correct answers. Today's lesson will help you answer the question, what are objects in my surroundings like? You will use your senses to describe objects around the school premises. Read the last up to the instructions and list unfamiliar words. How do I use my senses to describe objects around me? Do you have other questions or clarifications about the activity? Copy the table on the activity sheet on a piece of paper. You will roam around the school, compound, or garden. Name 3 objects that you can see, hear, or touch as you walk around. Remember, do not smell or taste anything for safety. Do not touch anything without asking permission from the teacher first. Describe each object using your senses. You will also write down questions you have about the object. Here's an example. You write the object. It is chalk. For the description, yellow, white, short powdery, hard, no sound when tapped. Question: why is chalk powdery when we crush it? Do not cause damage to the environment by doing acts such as tearing flowers, stems, or leaves. Chipping of paint. Tearing posters. Stay in the group and always listen to the teacher. You must work individually and must not talk to your classmates. Share your findings with the class. Here is an example. I found a small piece of chalk. It was white and yellow, hard and felt powdery. It made no sound when I tapped it. My question is, why does it turn to powder when crushed? Here is another example of the output. Name of object, bird. Describe object, cute. Brown, small. Moving, makes a loud sound. Makes a sound that goes like this. Chip, chip. Question about object. Why can birds fly but I cannot? Answer the following questions about the 5 senses. What other objects have you found around the school? Was it easy or difficult to describe the objects you found? What did you use to describe the objects around the school? How can we answer the questions that you have about the objects you found? What are objects in your surroundings like? How is science present in identifying and describing objects? How can science help in answering the questions we have about objects? Describe an object available on hand and not described before. For example, a meter stick. Write as many descriptions as you can on a piece of paper for submission. For day 3. What do I see, hear, feel, smell, and taste? In this activity, you will review the skill of describing in preparation for the day's lesson. Answer the following questions. When you wake up in the morning, what are the first things you see, hear, smell, touch, and taste? Today's lesson will help you to answer the question, how do I use my senses to describe activities in my community? You will use your senses to describe activities you do and that you can observe. Describe and demonstrate breathing and dancing with a partner. An activity is something that a person or group does or has done. Examples of activities were the ones we have described earlier. What can I describe about activities around me? Your class will be grouped in 5. Each group will be assigned an activity. You'll be given 1 to 2 minutes to plan on how you can act the activities out. You can use objects in the classroom as props. Be careful on acting and with the prop objects. Perform for a 10 to 15 seconds in front of the class. For each group, answer questions in the next section. What is the activity called? Can you describe the activity? What can you see, hear, feel, smell, and/or taste? Do our senses help us describe objects and everyday activities in our community? Explain why or how. There is another term that means the same for describing objects and activities, using the senses, and the term for it is observing. Observing is a basic skill in science, that when we describe the world around us using our senses, we observe our world. Science activities like experiments help us answer questions. Why do we do the activity? What are questions you have about the activity that you don't know the answer to? Was it easy or difficult to describe the activities? How did science help you in describing the activities? How can science help in answering the questions you have about the activity? Science will help us answer your questions by doing science activities like experiments. Why is it important to use our senses in describing objects or activities around us? It is important to use our senses because they help identify and compare objects and activities around us. How is science present in identifying and describing activities? When we identify and describe activities, we observe them. When we observe, we do science. How can science help in answering questions we have about activities? Science activities like experiments can help answer questions. Write 3 sentences describing an activity that was not covered earlier. You may use pictures or videos if available. Each sentence includes at least one sensory detail: sight, sound, touch, smell, or taste. Write your answers on a piece of paper. For day 4, what natural events have I observed? Do you know what natural events are? Have you experienced natural events? Here are examples of natural events: rain, day and night, thunder, and lightning. Have you experienced the natural events? Describe what you have experienced. In the previous lessons, you were asked to use your senses when you describe objects and activities around you, and learned that is a science skill called observing. Today's lesson will help you to answer the question, how do I use my senses to describe activities in my community? You will use your senses to describe activities that do and that they can observe. A natural event is a happening caused by nature and not by humans. Examples of natural events were the ones we have described earlier. What can I describe about activities around me? Have the class in 5 groups. Have each group identify a natural events that have happened in the locality and preferably experienced by the learners. These can include rains, summer days, typhoons, flooding, earthquake, etc. Learners may also be assigned with a specific natural event. Give the class 1 to 2 minutes to plan on how they can act the natural events out. Tell them that you can use objects in the classroom as props. Some in group can act as a natural force like wind, water, crowd. Some in the group can do activities that is usually done to stay safe and healthy during natural event, such as the following: rain or typhoon or flood can have the following activities: avoiding getting wet, moving to higher ground, listening or watching the news, evacuating from their homes. Summer days can have the following activities: drinking lots of water, taking a bath, wearing loose clothing. Have each group perform for a 10 to 15 seconds in front of the class. For each group, have the rest of the class answer questions in the next section. What is the natural event called? Can you describe the natural event? What can you see, hear, feel, smell, and/or taste? What sense did you use to describe what you have observed?
What is the natural event called? Can you describe the natural event? What can you see, hear, feel, smell, and/or taste?
What sense did you use to describe what you have observed? Was it easy or difficult to describe the natural events and your activities? How did science help you in describing natural events? When we identify and describe natural events, we observe them. When we observe, we do science. We use the senses in describing natural events. How important are the senses in science? Observation is something we do with science. The senses allow us to observe. Why is it important to use our senses in describing objects or activities around us? It is important to use our senses because they help us understand and respond to what is happening around us. How is science present in identifying and describing natural events? When we identify and describe natural events, we observe them. When we observe, we do science. How important are the senses in science? Observation is something we do with science. The senses allow us to observe. Here are pictures of natural events. Write 3 sentences describing a natural event that was not covered earlier. Rain, summer, heat, typhoons, floods, earthquakes, landslides, droughts, strong winds, thunder and lightning, storm surges, monsoons, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, red tide, etc. Each sentence includes at least one sensory detail: insight, sound, touch, smell, or taste.